Criticize me. Could you do that, please? No, don't do that. I think the whole field would. Hey, look, thank you so very much to Derek and Rita and the team for asking me to come down here. Asking them because probably I caused the situation to happen today for a north-south thing in Auckland on the 15th as well. We believe it was a step forward in trying to bring us together from maybe a mob that first started to get together, a protest group, a movement, and now we've turned into a great big whānau family. That's what I think of the Freedom and Rights Coalition, is really just a family of people who have met at the crossroads after certain things have happened and conspired over time in this country of New Zealand. I am like you. I woke up one morning and I thought, I am not free. I am not free. And I hated the feeling that I could not just hop in my car and go down the road somewhere to buy something, or to the supermarket, or to visit some friends, to hug them, to go to a wedding or a tangi, and even worse, to have borders put around the city that I lived in. And that's the Auckland jail that I've just come out of. The whole city was a jail, really, for over 100 days. And I haven't opened my church for something like 27 weeks because I refused to get vaccinated. So my status is, and it still is the same, that I'm not vaccinated, neither of my family, neither of my 3 married children, neither of any of my 10 grandchildren, and neither are 2 of my great-grandchildren. We have decided to trust our immune system that was God-given, and the one that created it. I trust him as well. And so that has been really a part of the conviction or the belief that I had, that back in August and September, I was a slow starter, and all of that was going on with the government. I knew it was wrong. You don't need any type of qualification or very many brain cells working to know there is something terribly and evil and wrong with this government. It definitely is now. And now, as it's opened up further, a lot of my cousins, my friends and family, extended family, are apologising to me because they thought I was a fruitcake, just like you guys, that we were out to lunch. We were crazy group of people, because we were standing for what we believe was right, what was right. And so, about September, I was planning my retirement after 40 years of growing up in this country. My mother's European and my dad's Māori. So I've had a taste of both cultures, and I've grown up in this country, loving my country, playing the sports, I'm a musician, and I've done many things in my own business, and grew up with a girl from Central North Island, and we got married and raised a family. At the age of 21, when I thought the world was my oyster, the last thing I wanted to do was be involved in religion. That's for real. But that's what happened to me. I was indelibly converted. I need to tell you this. It's important because it's a big part of the knowledge of this country. And that changed my whole life. It turned my life upside down, right side up. And I left the life of, you don't need to know about, but I'm telling you, the life I started to live from the age of 21 was just one of giving our lives completely and totally to helping the people in this country, and particularly a lot of my people, Māori, many of them who were society's worst nightmares, who were in prison, who were abusive, and were at the bottom of the ladder, if you like. And so I spent a lifetime lifting people, encouraging them, speaking life into them, giving them a first, second, third, fourth, fifth chance, 10th chance. We're here, and there's no such thing as permanent failure. You just got to get up and keep trying, and we'll be there all the time to be with you, to support you until you are a fully functioning father, husband, and grandfather, and mother, wife, to your children and to your family. Everything is recoverable. Nothing is terminal. Everything is transitional. Even cancer is not terminal. It's transitional. It just takes you to a better world and a better life if death comes. It just puts you in a position that I would not ever fear what man could ever do to me. Whatever they say, I would never fear. I would always have a deep, abiding trust in somebody I couldn't see with my natural eyes, but have felt all the way through those 40 years of working with him, walking with him, and talking with him. The thing about this is, a lot of people don't understand that the heritage of this country rests on God. Our national anthem is the best anthem in the world. God defend our free land. Amen. Our freedom, as it was said before, comes not from a government or from any particular place or person. It comes from God himself as a gift to us naturally to live as free as the birds live. You just watch the sparrow. He doesn't really even build a home. He doesn't ever go to a supermarket. The sparrow never frets or worries, yet they're fed well, because you guys keep chucking your pies out the window, and all the food that they can pick up on, and they've always got a house that you build that they'll put nests into. And they never ever worry. They totally trust somebody who they don't have the ability to even communicate with, that made them and created them, and yet they do not have a worry in the world. And sometimes we've got to take some lessons from creation itself, that there is a way that we can go. There is a way, a better way to life that takes us back to what is intrinsically important to you, to your children, to your offspring forever and forever. I just want to say that because COVID is not right. It is bad what's going on around the world. It's a global problem. We know this. In this pandemic, we got enough information. You get it fed through your social media stuff, so that's why I don't want to talk too much about it. I really just want to talk to you as a person about us and the men and the people I committed. Our work for 40 years I threw on the line. I said to my wife, we were ready to go for a trip around the country to the places of this beautiful paradise that I have not been down those side roads when you get off, State Highway number 1. But I wasn't allowed to rest on this coming into August, September, because I knew that people were suffering. I knew people were starting to lose jobs. Their lives were threatened, and we were threatened with control, with a dictatorship, a tyrannical government that was now mandating and forcing us to do things that we did not or do not want to do. I have a lot of friends in the business world. When I ask them about why did you take the jab? Did you take the jab because of a medical protection or the problem of the pandemic? And almost 9 out of 10 of them said, no, I didn't take the jab for that. I took the jab because my job and my livelihood was on the line, and I'm employing a half a dozen people in my business, and I just can't bear to see them unemployed. So in effect, that man or that woman or those people took the jab because in a way they were pressured and forced by a government who used their income and their job or their money to cause them to be coerced or to make a decision against their will. So really, mainstream New Zealand today, who probably wouldn't bother to listen or to be at a protest, I really have a heart for, because they're in a position where they probably don't know or how or want to protest. They think they might be joining a crowd of fruitcakes, but whatever, but they feel the same. There must be at least another 1 million people that could be here and shake their head up and down and say, I agree with you, Brian. I don't like the idea of being forced to take a vaccination. I don't like the idea that we have been controlled and our government has turned on its own people. I don't like the idea of living in levels all that time and keeping us in our homes. And so much damage was done economically, it was done socially, it was done mentally to the people of this country. And because we still have a measure of false freedom, that you can still travel around, most of you can still work, and I must admit that you have had it better than we had it in Auckland in the top of the North Island. We were very restricted at the end there. But you guys should take issue really with this government straight away. That you were unceremoniously locked down, cold-heartedly and callously shut down. You were put into restrictions on levels and the traffic lights when you had no cases for over, 100 odd days or something like that? Or went on for a year. For a whole year, you guys were blessed, and yet you were punished. If I were you, I'd be making moves to make South Island an independent state. Yeah. An independent country. Yeah. A country is just a whole lot of people who agree about something and have their own government. Stuff your control. We're going to live in freedom. We're going to look after us. We're going to look after our children's future, our children's education. My business, my tomorrow is not going to be determined or dictated to by somebody who does not have our best interests at heart. And this government doesn't. I don't know how the hell they've lasted so long. I'm waiting for my fellow Kiwis to wake up a bit more, and immediately we should remove them, replace it, and clean out that whole place, because our political system is corrupt. I've been before 4 different judges, and maybe 5 after today. they see me as a real problem. I don't know why. I'm just an ordinary Kiwi like you guys, and just put my damn hand up at the wrong time and said, here I am. Yeah, I'll do the business here. But you know what? The judicial system is corrupt as well. The evil COVID-19 health response bill, that's what's killing New Zealand. That created law by this government that's been overextended, that is made for very extreme emergencies like what you had as the earthquakes or some flood or mass destruction of nature. Then they bring in this law, and then they shut everything down, shut everybody down, and they override everything about our freedom and rights to temporarily. 2 weeks is a long time, and it says, and it's written that it's so severe to people's freedom and rights that any government should leave it, only have it on a restricted basis and immediately remove it. They've kept it for 2 years. Yeah. And that COVID-19 response bill or law is the one that's killing this country. It is killing our economy. It is killing our businesses. It's killed us. It's causing the suicides. It's causing the breakdown of our communities and our society. That's the bill that's doing it. That's what's giving them what they think is legal or lawful power to abuse us. So judges use that in the judicial system to override our Bill of Rights. And I said to the police commissioner and the deputy police commissioner, and they sent a representative from government cabinet to visit me when I decided that I would make a stand, and that we would make a stand for all Kiwis, every New Zealand family that was suffering under this. So I told my wife and I told my children, told my grandchildren, we may get arrested, I don't know where I'll end up, but something needs to happen. So I got a hold of a lot of leaders, and I spoke to church leaders, I spoke to organisations, people outside the church, and I said it's time for us to get together, bring all of the groups in, freedom groups, businesses, anybody. Let's do this. And after 3 or 4 or 5 Zooms, I had enough of Zooms. We needed action. And so I put it to them. I don't understand the reasons totally. I think part of it was they were a bit afraid of me, I think, in the history and the media's narrative about me and Destiny Church. So I understood that. So I offered my movement because we were fairly organised, and our network across the country and Australia is quite extensive. We are in contact and communication. We have a unity of purpose. We love people. We love our country. It was perfect. So I got on the phone and I said, guys, or Zoom it was actually, I'm going to put it to you, and no problems if you don't want to do it. You're still loved in my books and you're still a part of the family. No feelings that you're excluded. And I said, we're going to make a stand. So we're throwing 40 years of my ministry and the whole church movement on the line. I want to stand for our people. I want to stand for this country. I want to stand for your freedoms and my children and your children's freedoms.